Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is looking at the full moon in Leo, which is occurring on the 12th of February 2025. This is called the full snow moon based on Native American tribes because this is from almanac.com. They say that the heaviest snows usually fall in February, which is news to me. Although in the Chicago area, we did have a blizzard like at the beginning of February in 2011 that I recall very well. And even though that was like 14 years ago, I still remember it very, very well. Now, the other thing, and it's also called the Hunger Moon, and of course, some Native Americans called it the Hunger Moon because probably, it's very hard to have food. Yeah, they were talking about the snow moon. It's difficult to hunt, so therefore that was why they called it snow and Hunger Moon. So obviously I'm in the northern hemisphere, and so we're talking about the winter season. So if you're down under, this is summer, and that makes absolutely no difference to you. Alrighty then. So the first thing I just want to say about this full moon in Leo is because I'm thinking of some current news that's been coming fast and furious in the early part of February when I'm recording this. And I'm thinking about the average person, and I feel like when I hear this news, I feel like humanity has been desecrated by, a small amount of people. And when I say desecrated, I mean totally disrespected. And when I think of this full moon in Leo that is coming up in just 1 week from today, as I record this, actually, which is great. I'm glad that I'm doing it exactly 1 week beforehand. I feel like we are going to rise up as lions. When I say rise up, I'm not talking about some kind of protest or, being in the streets. I'm talking about within ourselves. Because, sometimes they say, are you a sheep or are you a lion? Are you a follower? Do you have that sense of personal dignity that doesn't require anyone else to validate that? It's just within yourself. And I think this is going to happen because full moons bring out that quality of awareness and something blossoming within us. And there's an emotional quality to full moons. And I would say that the water sign, when the full moon is in a water sign or in a fire sign, there's going to be a lot of emotion. With the fire signs, and Leo is one of them, it's going to be more passionate. The shadow side of passion is drama. It's a lower type of personal emotion that is connected to our ideals. So a person feels like they should be treated a certain way because this is what love is all about. That's kind of like a Leo thing. Leo in astrology rules the fifth house, which is about love and creativity. Leo is ruled by the sun, and that in astrology, the sun is our core self in this lifetime. And where our creativity stems from. And our creativity, you could be somebody who is good with numbers and you become an accountant, and that is your creative gift to others, is your ability to help them restore their finances. But you may do so with a flair that is very easy for other people to understand. Some people are painters, some people are astrologers. And it's just how you express yourself, really. So there's going to be a strong sense of self. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about personal dignity, of like, this is what I deserve, valuing the self. And I want to see here, let me get that chart up. Because full moons are oppositions with the sun is in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the ruler of the 11th house of the collective. The collective, it sounds like I'm talking about collectivism or, Marxism or something like that. Which, by the way, if somebody is an Aquarius, they may really gravitate towards that or feel a strong desire to experience that type of economic system. But what I'm talking about when I say the collective is that we also experience things as a humanity. And sometimes we kind of limit that to our country of origin or the country we're currently residing in. But then, we can transcend these borders and we can talk about the world as a whole. And that's what I feel like is going on here, is that people are waking up to their personal power. Fire energy is very independent. It's very individualistic, and it's very resourceful. So this idea that you don't need somebody to tell you what to do, and that's definitely Aquarius. That's very rebellious and nonconformist. This could really be heightened at this time. So the personal planets are all cardinal and fixed. And because Venus is in Aries and Mars is in Cancer, and Mercury is also in Aquarius along with the Sun. So when you're dealing with this sort of combination of fixed and cardinal energy, there's not a lot of give, because the mutable signs are more likely to be able to be cooperative. The cardinal signs are kind of like the initiators, and the fixed signs are sustainers. And so that can be very good, but sometimes we do have to kind of modify our demands and our demands and expectations, because we may not have all the facts and we may assume things that are not true, and we have to kind of like become moderate instead of just like doing things our own way. There's a lot of willful energy here. Mars is in Cancer, which is kind of an awkward place for Mars, because Cancer is a cardinal sign, but it's also a water sign. So it's almost like hysterical sometimes, where a person is demanding something on the emotional level. So there might be, Leo is associated with the ego. So if there's any kind of like, there's a conjunction between Venus and Neptune, which can be super romantic, but it can also be very diluted with romantic affairs. And so with the Leo, the moon in Leo, the full moon in Leo, wants to really be seen and heard, and that can lead to kind of ego issues if somebody is not really receptive to that. And maybe the other party is deluded and they think they're madly in love with somebody, and it's a one-way street. So if you are dealing with relationship issues, be advised that you have to be on the same page as your partner or your potential partner. And it's always, I think it's always good form to not demand love from somebody else. You know, it's like when you have to be forceful about trying to strong arm somebody emotionally, they may, say what you want them to say to placate you, but do you really think that they feel that way? You may constantly question it, and the best feeling in the world is when someone willingly tells you that they love you and you can feel it in your bones. So keep that in mind. But yeah, and Venus in Aries is very like feisty when it comes to love, but also treating love like some kind of game, like a cat and mouse game. Maybe if you're, madly in love with someone, but you're in the initial stages of all of that, and you still are not seeing each other all the time, and you may feel like the other party is playing hard to get. It can, when Venus is in Aries, it can be kind of intriguing. You may kind of relish that sort of thrill of the chase, which is kind of associated with Aries, especially if somebody is playing hard to get. So, I really don't want to go too much into this altogether. I just wanted to touch upon some themes. I think that for the collective, I think this is the time when we really focus on our own creativity and realize that the outer world probably, or the powers that be that are crumbling very quickly, would rather see us as sheep than lions, because we're easier to control that way. And to me, I just heard something today from a spiritual type of teacher, I guess you would call her. And she was talking about when you're, being creative, you're in this flow state, and that is the alignment. I don't know if she said with the spirit. I think she said something like with the spirit, and that there's a stagnancy when you're not doing this. And so I hope that this inspires you to really kind of embrace that side of yourself, even if you're somebody who doesn't really consider yourself creative. There's a great book called The Artist's Way. It's a classic, and they keep coming out with, later editions. And this is a way to kind of get that flow going, that flow state going. And I really do believe that when we practice this, that we will align with abundance and all of the things that we want to bring into our reality. So there's this is a very good time for that sort of what I would call intention or affirmation that you have. This is the time of a full moon is a time of great fertility. So keep that in mind. All right. I hope that you have a great time. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.